about, if you're a young promoter competing against the big guys in the market, how you can start with a band and stay with them for the whole ride. It's not easy.
Well, and you certainly don't. I mean, history used to be a big thing. That was a big word in our industry. It's like, you got to get history. And I remember those first phone calls, it's like, they have history with those bands. You can't have those bands. We have a relationship. So I used to call all of the big agents and say, hey, I think lightning's going to strike twice. Tell you what, don't bug the guys that you have to give all the big shows to already. Give me the bands nobody knows yet. Give me your babies. I'll build them. If I lose on them, they'll come back, they'll be bigger, and you can give them to the guy that doesn't have to do the work the first time through. If I do a great job, let me keep them. But they're not begging for it. They're too busy doing Soundgarden. Let me do the baby bands.
Yeah.
And they love that.
Yeah. Now, I also know from my own experience that when you're a promoter on the make and you're just trying to make your mark, you have to make it very personal with those artists so that they remember you when they're moving up the food chain and they start to move into venues, perhaps, that you don't control. How do you deal with that venue issue where, just to give a little background, promoter starts, everybody rents a building, and then they move up to, let's say, Red Rocks is a bad example because it's a public building, but a venue owned by one of the big companies. How do you deal with those situations when your act has grown to, let's say, the amphitheater level?
Well, and then Denver was a problem with that because there were all these exclusive venues. You've got AEG runs this, or Soda Jerk runs that, or nobody in particular controlled that. So Denver was a bad market for that. When I moved to the Northwest, it was much more mellow. Everybody smoked pot. Everybody worked together. It was much friendlier. Barry had instilled a "we don't work with anybody" attitude in Colorado. It was very much "fuck you and deal with it. We're the guys and we're not sharing."
Yeah.
So you didn't hang out backstage. I remember I went to see Bill Silva in San Diego, and Kathy Mizio was backstage hanging out, and I was so shocked. It was like, you're competitors. And Bill's like, You've worked in Barry's market way too long. You can like your competitors. You just don't poach their acts in front of them. And I thought that was great. It was different. I went to the Northwest. Everybody's at everybody's shows. You're hanging out. You're friendly. You're not talking shit about each other. It's like, wow, there's a different market outside of Denver. And when the rooms are open, it's easier. And you co-promote and go into the room when it's an exclusive. But if the band and the manager and the agent have a relationship with you, and they ask the guy that runs the room, like, hey, we're loyal to this guy. He's got our email list. Everybody seems to want to work together. They want to split the pot and post to compete.
It's a very competitive business. When I was growing up here in the concert business in LA, we competed against the Nederlanders, we competed against other people, and it was vicious, and it was rough and tumble.